What's up, guys? Welcome to Cage Side Connor. I am Connor. This video is going to be my UFC Walker versus Zhang Post Show UFC on ESPN 172. I think they were going with UFC on ESPN 92, maybe it was UFC on ESPN Plus 172, UFC on ESPN 92, UFC Fight Night 267. Thank you for clicking on the video, everyone. This would be the post show for Walker versus Zhang. Card went down this last weekend in China. I forget what city in China, actually. It wasn't Hong Kong. You know, I can only name so many cities in China as an American. So, there's Hong Kong, there's Shanghai. Is it Shanghai? Is that where they were? I think that's it. I could probably name more if I really thought about it. Stupid Americans. Anyways, UFC went down this past weekend. This will be the last UFC card for a couple weeks here. I think they're taking 1 week off for the holiday in the States. So I think we won't be back until, God, when is the Paris card? September 13th, something like that? It might be way fucking sooner than that, but it might have been like September 8th or whatever. Whatever, doesn't matter. UFC this past weekend went down in China. Decent card, wasn't the most stat going into it, wasn't the best thing that you could have watched ever coming out of it by any means, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. Very early start time here in the US, so that fucking sucked, but I did wake up for the prelims and watch the whole damn thing half asleep. It was great time. Anyways, guys, before we get into the full post show here, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate it very much. All right, let's get into the video then. Of course, in your main event, Johnny Walker defeated Minyan Zhang by TKO round 2. Weird fight here. Johnny Walker, of course, came out with a takedown immediately. He was kind of hinting at this before the fight even started. He shaved his beard to make it look like he's from Dagestan, so he just shaved his mustache, and I guess that was a little hint for Zhang there that hey man, I'm about to come out and fucking wrestle your ass, and try to wrestle. Johnny Walker definitely did. Was not successful in that takedown attempt at all. It was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. He immediately got flipped over and they were in a scramble, and then he ended up on bottom and Zhang ended up on top. We kind of get up to our feet from there. And during the first round, I kind of thought Zhang was looking pretty good. And then we get to the second, and things just drastically took a turn for the worse for Minyan Zhang here. He ended up getting hit with some leg kicks, and probably about 2 or 3 of them. And then, as you can see here, this one made him go down, and Johnny Walker just kept slamming into that leg, and there was not much Zhang could do. And then Johnny Walker just went in for the kill. He and ended up getting the TKO here with some pretty brutal ground and pound. It's Johnny Walker smelled blood in the water, and he definitely went for it here. Ended up getting a TKO. Good for Johnny Walker, getting a win in 2025. Like, are we on a Johnny Walker resurgence here? Are we going on a Johnny Walker title run? Probably fucking not, but you love to see it. 2025. I mean, Johnny Walker, how hyped up was Johnny Walker coming into the UFC? After those first 3 big wins in the UFC, I think he knocked out Claire Roundtree, knocked out Serkinov, he knocked out a couple other guys, or one other guy at least, and then ran into, God, who did he run into? Corey Anderson. That was he ran into Corey Anderson, I believe it on an MSG card, and Corey Anderson put him back in his place. And Johnny Walker is kind of just up and down ever since. He never was really able to recapture that hot prospect, title that he had during his rise at the beginning of his UFC career. Looking for him getting a win here. Definitely a comeback that he needed. Was definitely potentially on the chopping block here. I mean, that would have been 3 losses in a row for Johnny Walker if he would have lost to Zhang. So, which does not look good. And depending on how much you're getting paid in the UFC, if you get 3 losses in a row, they will cut you. It depends how valuable you really are to them, to their promotion. Johnny Walker, pretty valuable guy, someone that could headline fight nights for you, someone that could spawn to throw on a pay-per-view, is a name, right? So maybe UFC wouldn't have cut him after only 3 losses, but it certainly would have been brought into question. What do we do with Johnny Walker next here? I'm going to say we do Johnny Walker versus Bogdan Guskov, who is coming off that TKO win over Nikita Krylov. UFC typically likes to match guys that are in the win columns together. That way they're not, matching up one guy that's coming off a loss, and then another guy's coming off a win, and then kind of the winner of this can now be propelled forward a little bit more to the eventual, to in the top 10, to title shot talks. Obviously the winner of this wouldn't be in title shot talks, but you know what I'm saying. And I think this would be a fun fight. I mean, definitely another bad matchup for Johnny Walker, but pretty much everyone at the light heavyweight division who's got heavy hands and decent striking, bad matchup for Johnny Walker. So yeah, I think why not just do this, and then yeah, like I said, winner of this could potentially be looking at a top 5 opponent right after that, and then after that, potentially looking at a title shot. That's just kind of how it goes in the light heavyweight division. Not the deepest division by any means, but getting there, getting a little bit better day by day, fight by fight, card by card. Continuing on then with Zhang, of course. Oh yeah, there's Bogdan, TKO, and Nikita Krylov from earlier this year. Zhang, I'm gonna recommend Ian Kuchelabre, who's coming off a loss himself. Like I was saying, both guys in a loss column now. Both guys coming off one loss. I feel like this would be a fun fight too. Ian Kuchelabre always doing wacky shit, especially in the weigh-ins. Jean, he's a name now, right? At least somewhat. Like we will recognize him going forward. So I feel like it's a good fight for both guys. Good bounce back for Jean, and potentially a good bounce back for Kuchelabre. In your co-main event, then, Aljamain Sterling defeated Brian Ortega via unanimous decision. This fight did not go how I thought it was going to go at all. It ended up just being a complete striking match, which I guess isn't too surprising when you match up two grapplers. A lot of the times it does end up being a striking match, and it just ends up being a kickboxing fight. But I thought for sure if it did end up being that Brian Ortega would be able to win. I mean, Brian Ortega, to me, was at least coming into this, was a better striker than Aljamain Sterling. Like I think back to like Brian Ortega versus Korean Zombie when he just kind of lit him up with boxing on the feet. And I was like, man, I've never seen Aljamain Sterling do anything close to that. But no, Aljo looked pretty goddamn good on the feet. I gotta say, it's definitely the most impressive I've ever seen Aljamain Sterling's kickboxing look. I'll tell you that much. So yeah, decent win for Aljamain Sterling here. Definitely a weird one coming into it with Brian Ortega's weight problems. They had to move this fight up to lightweight on very short notice. I think during the actual weigh-ins, they decided to move this fight up to lightweight because Brian Ortega was having so many problems. And so I don't really know how drained Brian Ortega was. Brian Ortega just did not look like he wanted to be in there the entire fight. He looked very off. Not making excuses for him, but I just don't really know. Like, does Brian Ortega want to keep being a fighter? Is a legitimate question. I think we kind of have to start asking here. Aljamain Sterling calling for a title shot now. Definitely not gonna get that, especially with Lerone Murphy coming off the big Aaron Pico win. We got guys like John Silva and Diego Lopez fighting in about a month here, and a couple other contenders down at featherweight. Mozart Evloev, who of course has the win over Aljamain Sterling. So there's a lot of guys ahead of Aljamain Sterling here. So I'm just gonna recommend we do Aljamain Sterling versus Yair Rodriguez. Why not? If you're Aljamain Sterling, I think this makes a lot of sense. I think it's a good matchup for you too. If you're Aljamain Sterling, Yair Rodriguez, not typically known for his takedown defense or his submission defense, and Aljamain Sterling has both those things. Yair, he kind of just needs another fight. I think he was expecting a title shot after the win over Patricio Pitbull. Sounded like that's something Hunter Campbell promised him, which is a horrible promise. I think Hunter Campbell's really putting all his chips in Patricio Pitbull winning that fight. But nonetheless, yeah, I think it's a bad fight for Yair, so I wouldn't be surprised at all if Yair Rodriguez wouldn't take this, but I think it's a great fight for Aljamain Sterling. I was going to say Arnold Allen versus Aljamain Sterling, but it seems like Arnold Allen's still having problems with injuries, and both these guys are the only guys really in the top 5-ish, top 8-ish of that featherweight division that don't have a fight book, so I think it makes a lot of sense. Two big names, too, so... And then if Yair, I don't know. If you're Hunter Campbell, just promise Yair another title shot if he wins this one, and then don't actually give it to him. I'm sure Yair would love to hear that. Continuing on then, Sergey Pavlovich defeated Waldo Cortez Acosta via unanimous decision. It's a weird fight. It's not weird. Sergey Pavlovich actually looked very good. He very technical performance. It's just, what happened to Sergey just knocking guys out like in like fucking 60 seconds, What happened there? I thought for sure we were getting another Sergey knockout. But no, we don't. We get more of a tactical approach from Sergey out of this one, and he looked pretty good. He's definitely improving in his overall striking, I think. Definitely his defense is improving a little bit. And I actually thought WCA looked pretty good too here. That's what we're gonna call him. He looked decent on the feet. Some good output, some good bombs landed, and then Sergey kind of just beat him with a punch and landed the more significant strikes throughout the entire fight here. What do you do with Sergey moving forward? Such a weird position to be in, considering he's already lost to Tom Aspinall. He's lost to Volkov. He's the number 3 ranked guy in the heavyweight division now. It's just kind of impossible to really think what you do with this guy. So I'm just gonna say we just go way back to the list. Look, we need contenders at heavyweight. We need new faces, new people to come in here and become challengers for Tom Aspinall, because heavyweight is just fucking horrible right now. It really is. The 3 guys at the top are Volkov, Sergey, and Aspinall, and hopefully Jonathan Almeida can get a win over Volkov in October here, and he can kind of get in there a little bit, but we just need new guys. So I'm just gonna say Walter Walker. Yeah, I know he's on a 3-fight win streak, and I think he just got ranked. I think he's ranked like 15, so this would be a massive step up in competition, and it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But I just think, I don't know, give Walter Walker the fucking Sean O'Malley treatment and just give him like a number 1 contender fight right off the bat. Because why not? We need guys to get in here. They tried doing this sort of with Taliesin Teixeira versus Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis put him back. So I don't know. Let's see if Walter Walker can get a leg lock on Pavlovich here. Because if he can, you just shoot him. You just fucking give him a title shot right after that. Fuck it. Because we need people for Tom Aspinall to fight, and we need new faces in this heavyweight division desperately. I mean, heavyweight used to be so much better than it is today. Like, it really is the one division where you go back 10 years ago, it is significantly worse than it was a decade ago. Significantly. Like, so many names are gone, and they just never really got replaced, Your Overeems, your Verdums, your Junior Dos Santoses, your Cain Velasquez's. There just aren't people like that anymore at the heavyweight division, and it feels like guys never came in to replace those high level, high named fighters, and it's a damn shame. So let's hope Walter Walker is as good as he's been looking in his last 3 fights, and I don't know. Hopefully he can get a sub on Pavlovich here, because I really don't want to see a Pavlovich versus Aspinall 2 or a Pavlovich versus Volkov 2. I really just, I don't know. I have no interest in those. Continuing on then throughout the main cards, Walter Walker get a nasty leg lock. I'm just saying, just give him a top 5 guy. Like, fuck it. Sumer defeated Kevin Borjas via unanimous decision. This is kind of the this thinker of the main card. This fight was not doing it for me, especially at fucking, I don't know, it was like 5:30 a.m. at this point. So this fight, I was just like, oh my god, fucking end this shit already. It was pretty bad fight. But nonetheless, Sumer Jersey won a decision, pretty much on the feet the whole time, pretty much a kickboxing match. Looked okay. I'm gonna recommend Sumer Jersey versus Hudson Park next. I feel like you can throw this card on a fight night somewhere, or no, throw this fight on a fight night somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Sumer Jersey coming off a win now. Hudson Park coming off a loss. I know that goes against what I was saying earlier, but Hudson Park kind of a name now since he got that main event slot against Tetsuya Taira about a month ago now, and yeah, I feel like throw this fight together. Two guys that will be fighting for a top 15 position in that flyweight division. Your last fight then, gonna butcher the shit out of this name. Taya Lake Nuraji. Gonna go with that. Defeated Kiefer Crosby via TKO round 1. Nuraji, he was a pretty hot prospect coming into this, and he looked pretty goddamn good. There's one big thing we gotta talk about though, is this knee that he threw. Clearly illegal knee that definitely dazed Crosby. Was thrown right in the middle of the first round, after, and he was looking good the entire time too, but then he just fucked up with his knee. Credit to Crosby for continuing on with the fight, because lesser men definitely wouldn't have. They would have taken the win right then and there, and he certainly could have, but he didn't, and the fight got restarted, and he almost immediately ended up on his back, getting slammed with giant elbows, and Nuraji got the TKO right there and then. This kid looking pretty good, 24-year-old, hot prospect. I think he's 13-1 now, so another good prospect for this welterweight division. I'm gonna recommend he fights Basil Hafez. Bazil is the guy that had that incredible fight with Mickey Gall last year, and then he got a TKO loss from Oberon Elliott. But yeah, I really like the way this guy fights. I would really like the way these two match up. I believe Bazil's oh yeah, he's also the guy that filled in and fought JDM on short notice and had like a really competitive fight with him, if you guys know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I feel like this would be a great fight. I feel like for Nuraji to sort of proper step up. I mean, Basil's only 1 and 2 in the organization, so I feel like you get someone with a little bit more UFC experience here now, and then we'll kind of see where you're really at in this division, and see what kind of fights we can give him afterwards here. Here goes a look at the rest of your prelims. Got to shout out Charles Johnson, of course. Charles Johnson getting the big KO win over Lonnie Kavanaugh. That was incredible. That was probably my favorite moment of the night, if I'm being honest. That fight was awesome. Lonnie Kavanaugh was looking super good too in the first round, and Charles Johnson just did what he does and kept the pressure going, kept the high pace going. And Lonnie Kavanaugh started slowly fading in the middle of the second, and Charles Johnson just put it on him from there and caught him when he was square and knocked him out. Got shout out Kyle Dawkins as well, getting that KO win over Michelle Pereira. Kyle Dawkins, welcome back to UFC. I believe he's riding a 3-fight win streak in regional promotions before he came back. So good on him now, riding a 4-fight win streak now. Happy to see Kyle Dawkins back. Sad for Michelle Pereira. I mean, he's on a 3-fight losing streak now. He's going to get kicked way back. Potentially even cut from the UFC. I mean, that is a possibility now. 3-fight losing streak. Granted, I think they really like Michelle Pereira, as do most fans, but if they're paying Michelle Pereira a lot, they might end up cutting him. So we'll see how that one goes. And yeah, for the post-fight card rating, guys, I'm gonna give this one a 5.6. Not a good card. It was an okay card. I mean, there's some entertaining stuff. The main event was great. Like I said, some stuff on the prelims. Michelle Pereira, Kyle Dawkins, Charles Johnson, Lonnie Kavanaugh. Those are all great. Some entertaining fights on the main card, but overall, a pretty forgettable card. So we're going to go with a solid 5.6 here. This isn't a solid number at all. Anyways, guys, that will then do it for the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to subscribe to the channel over at cage.com or on youtube.com. And let me know what you thought of the card. Let me know any future matchups you'd like to make with the winners of the card. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.